That was not fun. And I know I still have to do it one more time. Even though I knew if I fell, I probably wasn't gonna die.
We're Riley and Courtney Casey. After traveling for 6 months in a truck camper we built ourselves, we fell in love with North Idaho and purchased 20 acres of raw, off-grid land. We spent the summer building our 30 by 40 barn dominium, and with the weather changing, we are pushing hard to get our building insulated, heated, and comfortable.
We'd like to take a moment to thank Keeps for sponsoring this video.
Heck yeah! We went into town and the local wood stove shop was so incredibly helpful. They had a stove that's going to work perfect for us in stock, and bonus, it ended up being the brand that all of you guys had recommended.
The next task is to rig up our pulley so we can yank this 180-pound wood stove up there.
And we're not going to break it.
Well, here goes nothing. Hopefully we don't drop the heavy stove.
I'm not ready.
Huh?
I'm not ready.
When will you be ready?
Never.
I'm holding the strap so that it doesn't drag against the drywall while we go up, because we can't go back with the excavator or up with the boom.
Whew. We didn't smash the stove. Are you cold?
It's cold.
It's actually not that cold. It rained last night.
I'm being dramatic. But today we're gonna fix that problem.
We have been looking for a break in the weather to be able to install our wood burning stove that we picked up, and I think today is our only opportunity for the next week.
We've got the heater going to try to dry out the roof so there's no moisture, so I can climb on up there and we'll see what happens.
Obviously, I'm not stoked about Riley going up on the roof, but we've got a harness. We're going to try to be careful. We need to get this chimney installed so that we can start using our wood burning stove, so that our building isn't like this. Pretty much like everything else we've been doing on the channel lately, we have never done this before.
We went down to a wood stove shop. They were extremely helpful on picking out which stove we wanted, plus all the rest of the parts for the chimney and the flashing, and I think we've got everything we need to get this project started.
Something I didn't anticipate was that the piping and all of the accessories cost more than the stove, so hopefully we don't mess this up.
It was definitely a little bit of a sticker shock, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end.
All right. A few months ago, we had asked you guys what wood stove you recommend, and you had all said a Yodel. And then we went to our local wood stove shop and just asked them what they would recommend. And when they said a Yodel, we knew that, okay, that has to be the best option for us. It also ended up being one of the most inexpensive stoves in the shop. So we are super stoked. And this is a Yodel 602. It sounds like this is rated to keep 800 square feet warm, and we're at more about 500 square feet, so it should be perfect. And you can cook on the top, which is pretty freaking cool. You ready? That thing's heavy. To help reduce our clearances, we got this heat shield, which bolts onto the back of the stove so that we can get it a little bit closer to the wall to help with our small room.
With the stove where we want it, now we're going to use a plumb bob to figure out exactly where the chimney is going to exit the roof of our building. I think we're going to interchangeably call this thing a chimney, a stovepipe, a flue, the pipe thingy. Probably not using the right terms. Hopefully you get the idea.
Be careful up there.
It's cool up here. We should put a little room up here.
Riley.
This could totally be a child's bedroom.
That looks pretty good.
It does look really good.
It is time to start mounting pieces.
There are a lot of pieces that go into this installation, but I think we've got it sorted now. So the chimney support box that goes into the ceiling that supports the weight of the chimney that extends up through the roof. This is in the way. That's just a piece that we put in to hold drywall up, so it's easy enough. We're just going to move it over to get it in the right spot, and this chimney support box install is going to be super easy.
I like easy.
Time to cut a hole in the roof. Not really.
That was pointed at my head.
I'm just cutting some wood out that's in the way. All right, I measured twice and then another 2 or 3 or 4 times for good measure. I'm about 80% sure this is where this hole gets cut. Normally you do all this from the roof. I'm trying to limit my time on the roof as much as possible, and I can do most of this from below. So I'm gonna get as much done down here as I can, and then hopefully only go on that roof one time to install the flashing, the chimney, the rain cap, and call it done up there. That is loud. All right, I'm gonna use our sheet metal shears as much as possible because that jigsaw was horrendous. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I ever thought the jigsaw was a good idea. This is way better. Time to install the chimney's support box into the ceiling.
And then Riley will be going up on the roof.
I dried it off with the leaf blower through the hole from above, kind of, and hopefully,
the weather is still holding. It is doomy, gloomy dark out there, so I don't know, we'll see. I am going to be so happy when this part of the project is done. Like, so happy.
And also so warm.
Yeah. I hope that someday we build something like short so that we can have a less stressful experience. Riley's got his harness on, got the ladder set up. He's gonna go up the ladder and get his harness tether point installed immediately. And at that point he will be tethered and I can breathe a little bit easier. Until that point, this is gonna be very, very stressful. And we are going to hope that that blue sky is a good omen.
Switching to my dry, grippy shoes. Let's just check. I was inspecting my equipment.
You're hooked in?
Yep, it's okay.
No, it's not okay. This is awful.
Ready?
It's the most stressful moment of my life.
Are you ready?
No.
It's not the most stressful moment.
Yes, it is. This is horrible. I love you if you die.
Here we go.
Easy. Does it feel safe?
Yes, it does.
Are you clipped in?
Clipped in.
Okay, he's clipped in. He is on the roof. He's on the roof, and now I'm gonna go inside and pass him stuff up through the hole. I think you need to come a little closer so we can see your bald spots.
Is this good?
Perfect.
When Courtney and I started our YouTube channel, we used to joke that if we started filming hair loss ads, that would mean we had sold out. But then my hair started thinning. So when Keeps reached out and told us that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some sort of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35, it made me feel a lot better about the whole situation. With Keeps, you get a real licensed doctor to review your information online and make a recommendation based on what's right for you. Then it gets shipped directly to your door. Keeps offers the generic version of FDA-approved medications, which means it's a really affordable option. And it turns out that prevention is the key, and I'm gonna have to be a little bit patient. Treatments can take up to 4 to 6 months before I'll see results. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/ambition strikes or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/ambition strikes. And I really did order the product, and I'm excited to see the results. So thanks again to Keeps for sponsoring this video.
Okay, Riley's got the flashing installed. Now he needs to come back down the ladder and we need to go back inside. Okay, I'm on the bottom of the ladder.
Okay, I'm coming down. Slowly. That was not fun. And I know I still have to do it one more time. The worst part is going from the ladder to the roof and from the roof to the ladder. And even though I knew if I fell, I probably wasn't gonna die.
That's awful.
All right, flashing is in. So the way this works is it slides underneath the roof metal on this side and goes on top of the roof metal on this side, so it's shingled correctly, and the water coming down the roof will go on top of the chimney flashing and then back down onto the roof. The install isn't the prettiest, but I was also afraid of falling off the roof the entire time, and I wasn't focused on a pretty install, I was just getting it done. That means that it's time to go back on the roof.
Are you clipped in?
Yep.
Okay. Oh man, you guys, Riley made it back up on the roof. He's harnessed in. We ran a strap around to the other side of the roof and then tied down to the ground so that he has something to hold on to. It's a long ways up there. He's such a champ. I feel so helpless. There's like nothing I can do but watch. But he's doing a great job. He's already got the rain cap on, and now he's doing the storm ties that go down so that the chimney won't blow over in a storm. Slow and steady, and I'm gonna be so glad when this is done. Riley is a champ.
That is a job that I hope I never have to do again in the cold and in the wet.
Oh man, I think we don't normally give you guys advice, but I think we're gonna tell you don't do that. Rent a man lift of some sort.
Yeah, it's just so hard to get on and off the roof at that kind of angle and up in the air like that.
I think we both took years off our life doing that one, but it's done.
So we've got the chimney in, the chimney support brackets that come down at an angle to the roof that keep it stable. I installed the storm collar around the top and siliconed that in, and there's the cap on the top of the chimney. We've got 2 or 3 more pieces to install, and then it's time to light a match. The intent of this collar is to keep our blow-in insulation from being able to land down inside this chimney support box. So our last step is to reinforce this purlin where we had to cut it to make room for the chimney. We're doing that by just adding another 2x4 across it and screwing it in.
We are so close to lighting our first fire. It's time to put the rest of the chimney in. I don't ever want to do that again.
But we will again, downstairs.
Oh man, that was a long day.
But the stove is fully installed and it's time to light our first fire.
We think it's installed correctly. We followed all of the instructions.
Yeah, so we're using a double-walled pipe inside the living space, and then from the ceiling on up is an insulated double-walled pipe.
Basically, we told the wood stove shop what we were doing, and they made recommendations, and we bought what they recommended. So hopefully we ended up with the right thing. It seemed to all work really well together. The install, once we kind of figured out where everything went, that part wasn't too bad. It's time to have our first fire. There is a break-in procedure for this stove, so we have a few steps we need to do before we can let her rip.
So let's start a small fire first. What's your conclusion thus far?
Sure, you guys are cringing cringing at home by our fire starting techniques. What's new? We'll learn. Mom, if you have any pointers.
But we're lighting our first fire in our wood stove in our apartment.
We get heat for an hour and then we have to shut her down.
So on a brand new stove, there is a break-in period, and according to the instructions, we need to get a fire up to 200 degrees and then run that for 1 hour and then let the fireplace cool all the way down to room temperature. So we've got our digital thermometer, and we're gonna be keeping an eye on this thing for the next hour.
$151.
150. 50 degrees to go, and then hold for an hour.
If we insulated this wall while we broke the stove in, the stove would be a lot more effective.
That is true. But I am burnt out right now. What are you up to?
Do I look ready to kill you? There's no staples!
Little confessional. Going up on the roof today absolutely kicked my butt. I am pretty darn afraid of heights. It was slippery, it was cold, and getting on and off the ladder, like each time I would start trembling afterwards. So I am drained. Courtney wanted to keep working late, so I'm just gonna sit here as her moral support and enjoy a little off time. She's kind of working like Riley, like down on the ground
This
and
is
disorganized. Her tools are all over the place.
This is horrible working conditions.
We
I'm
can,
gonna call OSHA.
we can fix it. Break-in fire number 1 complete, which means we cannot burn again until this thing gets down to room temperature.
Start blowing on it.
And then we'll start break-in fire number 2. What are you up to, Courtney?
If you could ever told me that I was going to be sitting at my wood burning stove at my off-grid property holding a thermometer in an uninsulated building. But here we are. We're on our second treatment. We're looking for 300 degrees. We hold it for an hour and then we let it cool down, and then we'll do the last treatment tomorrow. And then we can let her rip.
Finally dinner time.
Oh my god. Teresa, this is so good. Do I have to share this with you?
You're gonna eat the whole thing for dinner?
It's creme brulee. We are doing our final break-in procedure on the stove right now, and then it is going to be good to go. I think we've been a little overwhelmed the last week. There was just like so much going on, but wrapping up a few projects like getting the door done, getting the stove installed, it makes things feel more achievable.
We kind of got to a phase where there were half-finished projects all over the place. The entire building was packed full of materials. It was snowing outside. I think we're both tired. We were feeling a little overwhelmed, and finally, it's starting to feel a little more like a light at the end of the tunnel as we wrap stuff up.
And now we can really focus on insulating, which is going to be our next big project. And the big one is going to be insulating our ceiling because we don't have any scaffolding. We can't get any sort of equipment up here now. The road is just too bad for winter. So we're gonna have to get a little resourceful. We will never install another wood burning stove again. I say that now. I'll probably change my mind in a year when I forget how stressful that was.
At least not in the rain and without the right equipment to get up on the roof safely.
As always, the easiest way for you guys to support the channel is just to make sure that you're subscribed and drop a comment.
If you're looking for some more content, please go check out our Instagram at Ambition Strikes, or support us on Patreon, where Courtney makes exclusive blog posts and extra content just for our Patreon supporters.
Or just drop a comment. All of it. We appreciate it so much. It's been cool to see how much our channel's grown in the last year, and it's really cool to think about what we could do if we keep growing, because we have some really big projects planned that we hope to be able to make happen.
Thanks again for all the support, guys. See you next time.